What's up, YouTube? I've got an exciting episode for you today. We are in the trenches of Hurricane Ian, hundreds of billions of dollars in damages. And dude, there's going to be some contractors that fuck claims up. There's going to be property owners that get screwed by their insurance company. And I'm here with my man, London Crounse. You may have seen him on social media. He has been in our industry actually from the dark side. He worked for the insurance company and fought against, Daly and Black. I'll tell you about the story, but the reality is over the last 5 years, I've worked with London a lot, and he's become a leader in our space. And we're going to discuss in this YouTube big mistakes that all contractors, salespeople make when they're trying to sell commercial, do commercial. We're going to talk about the insurance climate here in Florida and what if you're trying to come work Florida, what you need to know about tile, what you need to know about big commercial, how to work it, the process. And I'm going to kind of talk through the things that we've faced, the trials, the things that work, the things that haven't. And London's going to share his solutions. But look, guys, I just want everybody to know that's watching this that this is really about everybody coming together. Click the link below, of course, and comment source where you're coming in from. We want to connect with everybody, and I'm going to be giving away NRL hats. All you have to do is type in where you're coming in from, and I'm going to get you a free hat just for watching the YouTube. And London, what's up, man?
What's up, Lee?
So when did you get here for the storm?
Last week.
Oh shit, that's badass, brother. Give them a little bit about your story. Tell them who you are. They've never heard of you. They don't know who you are.
Yeah, so I'm London Crounse of Daly Black, the youngest partner at that firm. Used to work for the insurance companies. I've been a lawyer for 10 years. The first 5 was working on commercial claims, and on the other side.
It's all the dark side.
On the dark side, that's right. Working for insurance companies, we had 4 clients: State Farm, Liberty Mutual, Nationwide.
You told me that insurance attorneys are soft as shit.
They soft with a capital T, like
Okay.
SOF with a capital T, and that's only because they bill by the hour. They don't get paid to win.
Okay.
Right? And therefore, they go in and they will take a losing case to trial just to bill the hours.
People would think the billions of dollars they'd have like the scariest, baddest attorneys.
No, they just have the most attorneys. And the good ones, they rise to the top and they leave to the bright side. But the only ones to stay on the dark side for long enough are ones that are too stupid not to leave.
Okay, so walk me back to the mindset of stupid London that was over there. What were you thinking? How did you get to that point? How did you get there? How did you become an attorney? How did you get to end up working with the insurance?
Yeah, so I was actually originally going to be contracted in the Army JAG Corps. Mm-hmm. And in 2012, when I graduated law school, they went from taking 82 JAG officers a year to 41. Mm-hmm. And so I had to voluntarily let myself out of my commission and then go forward to try to find a job. I went to Virginia Military Institute undergraduate. And so, and I took the bar in Virginia, so I just had to find somebody who went to Virginia Military Institute that was a lawyer in Virginia to go work for.
Oh, nice.
Happened to find a man who was working for the insurance companies for 22 years, had a large insurance defense firm. Like I said, we had 4 clients: State Farm, Nationwide, Liberty Mutual, and Allstate. And we serviced all 4 of those clients in both personal injury and property damage.
So tell me about the most evil things that you saw behind the Iron Curtain.
So allowing level 3 adjusters to dictate to attorneys what a case is worth or whether or not they should fight it or fold it and basically...
What's a level 3 adjuster?
Level 3 adjuster is just an adjuster that has a lot of acronyms after his name and has been around for a long time and thinks he calls the shots. He also has the authority to make decisions on the claim, up to a certain valuation of basically what they owe or the policy limits. And so when you have people like that who aren't necessarily lawyers, who don't understand the laws of bad faith, don't understand the multipliers, don't understand how interest, attorney's fees, and bad faith damages rack up, dictating what the lawyers actually do on the claim, it's a big problem. That's why I left, because I wasn't going to take shit anymore from them telling me what I should do. And, it's the equivalent of, the coach on the sideline calling a Hail Mary pass when it's 3rd and 8.
Right.
And, you're telling him, well, why can't we just do a post or a tight end and out and just get the first down? He insists on a Hail Mary pass. I have to go throw it, pick 6 the other way, we lose the game, and everybody blames me.
Now, before we started talking, you said, I guarantee I've been in more fights than any attorney. I like that in an attorney.
That's right.
You got a temper?
That's right. Well, I used to, yeah.
Okay.
I bounced bar all through law school. I boxed in college, wrestled, just like you, also in MMA. But yeah, I mean, I got into, I think I questioned authority a lot when I was younger, and that's what made me a better attorney, frankly.
Nice. Nice. I don't know. We got a lot of fake news out there in the world and a lot of rule followers. I don't know about y'all watching this, but I'm an outlier, renegade. I've been called lots of names. Pirate is definitely one of them, but moving my company from a Navy, from a pirate to a Navy, I mean, tell me about the day that you decided to leave the dark side.
Yeah, so that's confident. I mean, I can't really talk about that, but let's just say that a level 3 adjuster tried to make me try a case that I wasn't supposed to try or didn't want to, had an ability to settle that, and they didn't want to. $2.7 million later, took an L, and we didn't. After that, you know, I had a pristine trial record, and that tarnished it. It wasn't my fault. I did the best I could, but let's just say my...
You don't like to lose, and you were pissed they made you lose?
That's right.
Fuck those motherfuckers.
That's right. And I questioned authority, did not like having to answer to his authority, and I knew I was a better attorney than answering to the level 3 adjuster.
When you outgrow your leader,
That's right.
that's where there's a problem.
That's right.
So what made you choose to work with Daly and Black?
Because of the top national law firm in the country in terms of
When did
insurance
you join
litigation.
them?
Back in 2017.
Oh, nice. Talk to me a little bit about how you became partners so fast.
So I think just instrumenting the biggest problem with the roofing industry and lawyers working with the roofing industry are three things. One, making sure that the client receives the amount of money that's necessary to actually perform the job.
Fuck yeah.
Well, the lawyer never consulted the contractor traditionally in the past, and the lawyer is not personally qualified to determine what the value of that work is or what they would build the job and provide reasonable workmanship warranty on, and neither is the client. And so there was no system in place to make sure that the contractor had the expert or the ability to provide his expert number to that valuation. And so I put in a standard operating procedure where we have to contact the roofing contractor to make sure that we get that number and then have the client sign off on it in writing. That way there's nobody complaining that they received less money out of a claim than what they were promised, right? The second problem is...
Revolutionary.
That's right. The second problem is oftentimes the client can go rogue, and they can tell the
That
attorney...
happens a lot. They want to give the roofing contractor the big old...
That's right. And you
fucking
hear
12-inch
that...
staff.
You see that come to fruition when the
How many
client...
times I've took that and right up the rear end?
That's it. And they try to peddle it out to Uncle Chuck out the back of his truck. Exactly right. Because it's his cousin or somebody else. But
I call it the redneck reach around.
that's it. That's it. And we've seen that happen dozens
It's when
of
you
times.
go get $1 million job and then they just keep the check.
That's right.
So how do you protect people from...
So
because
you
it's the worst thing in the world.
You see that happening sometimes when the client starts telling you, I don't want you to discuss, settlement numbers with my contractor. I have attorney-client privilege. And so the answer to that is to
That's
make...
the magic question, isn't it? Or the magic statement.
It is, and it's a magic handcuff for the attorney because they cannot breach the attorney-client privilege. They are correct. But they can't tell me who my experts are, and they can't tell me not to talk to my experts. And so what we do in the very beginning of the case, when a contractor refers a claim in or has a customer contact us, we make them our expert in the case. And we say in exchange for the contractor being the expert for free, providing these consulting services, which would ordinarily cost $2,500 to $3,000 to do, you're guaranteeing the construction job when they settle the case. Does that sound fair enough? 95% of the time they say yes. It's optional. They don't have to sign it. But if they don't sign it, it's a huge red flag to you, Mr. Roofer.
Yeah, it just tells you right off the bat what
they're going to do the
intentions
redneck reach around. That's right.
Absolutely. I mean, you want to know. Like, guys, 20% of the people, 10% of the people out there don't give a shit. They'll step over even their own family to make an extra 100,000.
That's right, and that's only when the check comes, though. In the beginning, that everybody's on the same sheet of music.
Game.
That's right. People start to disperse once the money comes.
Let me tell you the story about my friend Tom Yang. Okay, I just had my homie. Okay,
I met Tom Yang.
You did?
Yeah, I know Tom Yang.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
because I had to go to
He's a baller.
resourcing. He's a baller.
He's a baller.
Yeah. Of course, whenever my payroll tripled overnight, we land all these commercial jobs. Dude, sometimes I got to go out there and start fucking leaning on my resources. So I call Uncle Tom. And Uncle Tom, he's helped me out before. We together last year in Irma, I was actually at a weird time and blew up, and I needed some resources to get where I need to go. Basically, I needed some cash. And So Tom, I hit him up, man, and this guy, let me tell you, I cold called him. I sold him a roof. I did out of his 10 roofs, 5 roofs. And the whole time, if I wouldn't have been flexible to work with him, because he was either tearing down the buildings or going to do the roofs later if he decided if he wanted to keep them or not. But the stage of when I was in town, I got to do 5 out of 10. But I had an agreement with him that basically said that there was a cancellation fee. And he would pay for my estimating services. And he would pay hourly up to 10%. And so that is to some people a big no-no. This happened in Denver, Colorado years ago. It created a great relationship where even after I did the job, the guy helped me buy apartments. He helped me fund storms. Even in my biggest funding, where I'm looking to do $700 million in this storm, it's like Uncle Tom's my first call. But that all came from a commercial client.
That's right.
And isn't it funny that some people say that the contractor shouldn't be able to be flexible to work with somebody like that? Because Tom, he's not going to do something stupid with money. He's not going to pay too much for a roof, so I have to be competitive. He already knew a roofer. Is it to be said that somebody always knows a roofer?
Yeah,
like in commercial?
Yeah, everybody knows a roofer. Everybody knows a lawyer, too. Doesn't necessarily mean that's the roofer or lawyer you should use. You should use the roofer or lawyer that specializes in exactly what you need and use their services. Now you can, I mean, I think the polite thing to do when, you as a contractor or me as a lawyer go in and the client has that relationship is to try to find a way to work them in and include them in the process or at least keep them advised. But also understand that we're the best person to do this job and that's why we're going to do it. But I'll still keep you in as of counsel if you like, just like, you probably let the roofer that they know do some of the mitigation work or whatever.
The roofer he knew, and he's my homie. His name's Scott Riopel. He was renting an office from him. I've told this story a lot. Scott's way badass. He's an awesome guy.
Yeah, big Scott.
You should definitely look at working with Interstate if you're in Colorado.
He's the man.
But when I was there, I was a storm chaser, and I was just coming in to do a little quick hit. I used to do that. Don't have to anymore.
Was that 2017?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I was there.
Scott was Tom's roofer, and basically I had to beat Scott out of the job. Scott was a personal friend of Tom, and so it took it personal when it was me versus him to win the job that I actually won. But that's where mutual respect began between the two of us. That's what's cool about this business. It's kind of a sport.
That's right.
But what I'm saying is what Tom loved most about me is I completed the offer. I took the pictures, I documented it, I turned kind of an example proposal. I always tell people it's a work in progress, and we're always going to add to it, and the price is going to go up.
That's right.
But I want to do a better job showing you what we're going to do for you in documentation, and I'm not afraid to show price so that people understand that I'm not afraid to hide anything from them. And sometimes with commercial business owners, the quicker that you can do a really detailed, formal presentation for them, it really earns their respect. And then you have that opportunity, that leg in the door. And then you meet their adjuster. And with Tom, you know what I did something? I couldn't get him to sign. I had to work on a handshake. That right there is something that you see very rare. Because some commercial business owners are just not going to fucking sign.
That's right.
Don't you know that?
Yeah. They just won't.
We're sitting in the building right here. The guy that owns this building, I'm going to be doing a lot of roofs for him. He's not signing up for him right now. I did the emergency services. He hired his own PA. I should have marched you in there to him. Then I'd have had a little bit of an in on the deal. But now I have to wait to bid, and then I have to beat. And I have to add more value. And even if I'm a little bit more expensive, I'll tell him I'm the guy. But the reality is that commercial guys already have a roofer. And you have to learn, what do you see? How do the best guys come in and take over someone's client? Like, just take them over. Like,
with the information that they have. And they commit to a written proposal. Most of the guys that, are the roofers that they know, that they're the mitigation guys that do things for cheap, right? Mm-hmm. They're the guys that come fix things when they're leaking. And that person's not going to put together a written proposal for the whole replacement cost value of the job. And there can be no acceptance without, a reasonable offer. And if you don't put anything in writing, what are you offering? A promise, right? Or an idea that it's going to, but now you're telling them, while you're putting it in writing, you're telling them this is subject to change. But at least you're giving them something concrete they can wrap their head around, because if they're commercial property owners, they're business owners. And they know numbers. They might not understand roofing, but they understand numbers, profit. They understand you have to make some money. that they have to get made whole. And if that works for both of you and you're on the same sheet of music and you put it in writing for them to agree upon, yeah, absolutely.
Dude, I just had one, and a big roofing company did a repair, and we went in and did the emergency repair, but it was a condo, and it was a bunch of business owners, but because they're individual building, they had a deductible, and the whole structure was, sometimes condos, it's a weird little inn. It's fun, it's easier, and you're in the land of HOAs. Are you excited about
Oh, yeah.
HOA presentations?
All the tile. Give it to me.
Oh, man. Whether it's tile, whether it's flat, whether it's shingle, HOA means lots of square footage. It means you're selling residential.
Yep.
I mean, it's a commercial job, but you're selling like to a regular person.
That's it.
And so teaching the Florida market. But you've already been in Florida. You've already been doing big claims. Y'all have already been out here.
That's right.
So
we've been out. We've had an office here since January.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, everything I've done with you has moved really fast, and I want to kind of get into this Florida insurance climate. Okay, working these commercial claims. My advice to anyone wanting to come here is they take a long time. Some of the claims I'm still working litigation from Sally, I'm frustrated with. That's almost 2 years. Meaning I hadn't even got to do the full roof replacements. I'm still in partial roof replacements, and these are like easy, obvious full replacement, easy things. Sometimes they take 2 or 3 years just to get to that first beginning point,
Yeah, if they're with the wrong firm. Not with our firm.
Okay.
It wouldn't take 2-3 years unless we go to trial. And even if we go to trial, I don't think it ever goes past 2 years. It's not possible.
I'm telling you, maybe I should have given that claim to you, but the reality
You
is...
should have, but that's all right.
The reality is that if you're in Florida, there's something going on in the Florida insurance market. What went on here?
So the insurance market is completely upside down here. I mean, what you've got 8% of Floridians account for 8% of the market as a whole per capita, but it's approximately 70% of payments on a nationwide scale go to that 8%. And so you've got a market that is extremely expensive. People's premiums are going through the roof. It's so expensive. People are moving out of the state. People are, the new laws allow them to drop people if their roofs are a certain age or older. And so you've got a real crisis here on our hands with regard to insurance, not only just how much are they insured for, if they're actually covered for flood insurance, or if they have sufficient insurance, but also obtaining the insurance that they actually have, because these insurance companies are going belly up fast. I mean, USAA, for example, is almost into receivership right now.
USAA?
That's right.
Oh, my God.
Yes, you wouldn't believe that, would you?
No.
But the fact is that the more claims that go into receivership, once it goes over to the state and Citizens Insurance, if they don't have a full, complete file, like what you offered to that commercial property owner in the beginning, if you didn't put that into the claim and basically create that evidence of the claim file, and the carrier didn't, they're going to close your file because they're not adjusters. They're just there to pay out on what's already been adjusted. And so if the adjusters aren't doing their job, you've got to do it for them, or hire, a third party like an attorney that can actually go in there and do that for you.
Nice. And so talk to us about how you prepare that and really kind of package these to speed up the process.
So we get a proofs of loss out right away. We have to get, full engineer report, estimate, photographs, a full packet, and deliver it to them so that we can start the time clock on the Prompt Pay Act, which here right now, according to the new law, is 45 days from the receipt of the proof of loss. But as soon as they have that, the clock starts ticking. Now, if you don't provide that to them, it is the insured's responsibility, but you can't tell them how to fill out their proof of loss and turn it in for them. They have to do that on their own, and they might not know what all their coverages are and what's available. But if the attorney comes in and then hires you as the expert to help them generate those numbers, now we'll hire engineers, we'll hire experts, over and above that to basically support what you're putting together. But if we don't do that, and they don't agree to that, then there is no claim from our end. And if the carrier doesn't do their job, I think the number one mistake is relying on the carrier to act in good faith and to actually do them right. That's why they pay billions of dollars in advertising saying they're your good neighbor, they're on your side, you're in good hands. They do that as propaganda to make you sit back and wait and let them decide.
Isn't it crazy how it fucking actually works?
Yeah.
It actually works. It really does.
It
don't
does.
Don't you see people frozen by the insurance
I'll
companies?
tell you how it
Is
actually
that not
works.
the biggest mistake?
It is.
That the contractor lets the scared customer control them. Like the fear of their insurance company not approving emergency services, the fear of your contractor's estimate being too high. Oh my God.
That's right. And it's only too high if you let the carrier dictate it first. Because if you dictate your numbers first and you're confident in your numbers, despite the fact that they might object it's too high, if they have nothing to compare it to at that point in time, why is it too high? If the insurance company, if you speak first and the insurance company speaks second, the carrier is low. Now it looks like the carrier is lowballing the shit out of this claim versus, they gave an offer and now all of a sudden you're too high. So being proactive and getting in there and providing that documentation and putting that up front, don't play hide the ball. And I think contractors are scared too. I think they bought into the same fear that their clients
they try
have.
to play the game of, and they're lazy. They don't like to.
Well, I didn't want to say that.
They're lazy as fuck, and they're bad at paperwork. They're not organized, and they celebrate their stupid contract.
Yep.
But in a hurricane, that contract means nothing. It means nothing in a disaster environment because the catastrophe adjuster has so many files. You have to package the estimate, show them the damage, show them the pictures, put it together in Xactimate for them, send it over, make it to where they can actually have a completed offer. And there is some people in town right now buying roofs, but if you don't have it set up for them and ready to go, then you're waiting. Even in the best case, maybe an extra couple weeks. In the worst case, maybe an extra 3 months. And so if you are coming here to sell in a hurricane, you have to learn how to give a customer an estimate on a roof, to figure out how to answer their questions about the line items that go on their entire claim, to get away from doing all this work. It becomes like, are you an adjuster or are you a contractor?
That's right.
I mean, because it takes a lot of time to do these estimates, right?
It does.
And a lot of the people right now are saying, dude, give me a fucking estimate or I'm not giving you the business. They're frozen. That's what everybody says.
That's it. Well, that's what the carriers taught them to do, to turn around and ask for that. But if you have, so what we do at our firm is, I think a lot of the reason you're not doing that too is because there's no promise you're going to get paid. Just like you said, that contract doesn't mean anything in this area right now because they could always challenge it. And then you're stuck arguing the liquidated damages provision of your cancellation clause, which you never want to be in a position to do because it's a 50-50 toss-up.
Right.
And so if you what we do is we make sure that you are locked in as our expert and there's quid pro quo for you providing those services. We're going to guarantee you the construction job, and we have power of attorney to add the roofer's name to the settlement check or any payments that are made in addition to the insured. That way you're locked in tight. In that situation, you wouldn't even need a contract if you had that, and you would be able to go forth and put in that work.
Let's unpack that a little bit because this is Florida assignment of benefit. What's your opinion on that? Should guys be out there signing assignment of benefits?
I think for mitigation work, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to carve out, what work on mitigation needs to be done. But I think if you're trying to take an AOB on the remainder of the claim, I think just, an authorization for payment is probably the best way to go because you don't want to be stuck in a position. Direction of payment. And you don't want to be stuck in a position where you're responsible for that person's claim because you really are. You're taking on the claim as if it's yours. So.
And that means your responsibility to
get ALE, to get all the coverages that are available. If it's a it's a commercial claim,
HOA where a lot of people are dependent, but they can sue you up to 10 years after.
That's right. You don't want that liability. But I think for mitigation, I don't think there's any liability there. I think you're just getting a guaranteed direction of payment to you for the mitigation work. And there's lots of guys that are just in here doing mitigation. They're coming in and they're coming out. If you want to do that, I think that's fine. But taking an AOB on the remainder of the job, I wouldn't advise it.
All right, so y'all are watching this. I'm going to just explain to you what we're doing out here. You can copy, you can model. Here's some free information. We don't use the assignment of benefits. We use a work authorization. It's much like a contingency agreement. It says that we guarantee that we're going to do the work for a price not exceeding but equal to the full amount of the proceeds. Then we have a direction to pay. And here's the thing. We try to show up to every single adjuster appointment with pictures of each elevation's damage, enough of the damages in a line item breakdown, at least for all the work that we're doing, so that the adjuster can easily process the file. And this is becoming sort of a game, this hurricane, where if you can't write an estimate, if you can't document a file, if you can't get organized, well, what happens is that no paper actually gets written. And each claim, we're getting some claims approved $2,500 a square right off the rip, $800 a square shingle right off the rip. And that's because the adjusters are seeing all the code components. They're agreeing They're agreeing to all the Xactimate line items. We're not manipulating the system. We're just using code.
Now you're doing their job for them.
And they're cool with it because they're independent.
Yeah.
And so how long do you think that wave will last?
2-3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you better get in while you fit in.
That's right.
And that's what we're trying to do. We're getting some tile roofs bought on the first go around in London. Like, he's going to be helping us on every tile that we basically can't get bought the first time, because a lot of times if I can be reasonable with the insurance company and they're going to be fair, let's give them one chance to be fair. And that's the first inspection. And then from that point, if we can't get an approval like they deserve, we're immediately handing it over to you. And once I hand it to you, what's your process?
We then immediately hire experts to bolster what you've already put forward. And we resubmit the packet that,
Engineer
report, photo reports, estimates, a new estimate.
Your estimates are lower than mine?
Always higher than yours, more than likely. More than likely, they're more thorough.
You think even your guy's going to be more thorough in his breakdown than me?
More than likely, because we're paying him more. I mean, frankly, we're paying for the best Xactimate certified people in the industry to go forward and push what the limits are. The same way that they push the limits down, we push the limits up, but it's all permissible because it's within the Xactimate software, which they mandate we use, right? So it's permissible to do that. But at the same time, it's essentially that because you didn't take the roofer's reasonable offer, now you have to face the lawyer and an expert who's going to testify to what this claim is actually fully and finally worth. And more than likely, yeah, it's going to be greater. I've certainly seen instances where it's different, but we want to get on the same sheet of music before we put forth what our claim is.
So we see negligence, bad faith. We get repairs instead of replacements. We turn it over to you. And how does it work? Do we immediately start to pursue them and take them to court? Because, I mean, typically what we do is we want to settle as quick as possible.
That's right.
And how do we work together for that?
So we work pre-litigation. We put together proof of loss. We work pre-litigation during the Prompt Pay Act period. So we give them everything under the sun that they could ever ask for, including proof of loss, engineering reports, photo reports, your estimate, our expert's estimate. Put that together in a demand packet with a letter of intent. And that way we have the ability to go to litigation if we want to, but the idea is to give them enough leverage and enough fear, give us enough leverage and give them enough fear so that they understand that, if there's 300 files on their desk, 30 of them have PAs and 5 of them have attorneys, those 5 are the only ones that could ultimately result in court and have a multiplier on that file.
Now, if y'all are watching this, you want to know like my net worth or my income or what my value is. Let me tell you what it's been. It's been the pipeline of tile roofs that I've had in litigation. It's been the fact that thousands of jobs our RCA has installed, but basically is constantly fighting insurance companies. And if the insurance companies were fair, it wouldn't be like this, but they're not. They fight the ones that they know they should be paying for. And we have this whole, I would say, a pipeline that just got erupted with Hurricane Ian. It just what was kind of drying up. It's like we hit a new mother lode, and there is now going to be an extension. And it's crazy because Hurricane Ian took a similar path than Irma. So roofs that weren't covered in Irma now have damage from Ian, and every roof left behind is now getting a new roof. Now, it hit a new part of the map where we are local, where there is devastating destruction. Talk to me about what this is the worst storm you ever seen, isn't it?
That's right.
Oh, talk to me about like that reaction coming down here, seeing the storm, the reaction. Where'd you start?
I mean, where do you start? I mean, it's everywhere. It goes for hundreds of miles. It's unbelievable the amount of devastation down here. I mean, we were just in Hurricane Ida, and that was the biggest storm I had ever seen. And they said that rivaled Katrina to what it did in New Orleans. But
it was spread out. There wasn't population. It was over a lot of swamps and
That's
marshes. Right. Fucking alligators getting hit.
That's right. Yeah.
And
tons
here
of
you
boat
got
houses
here you
getting
got
hit.
some property.
Yeah, real commercial. I mean,
there's more fucking commercial here than there was in Irma.
10 times.
Because Naples and Marco were the biggest little cities hit. It's 2 cities, and there's a lot of commercial in Fort Myers, but the amount of HOAs in the whole thing, it's fucking huge, bro.
Yeah.
The amount of mid-size and decent, just commercial businesses in Fort Myers, it's way bigger than Naples, and so their damage is also better. It's more significant because the storm came in Cat 4 right here, and a lot of the Naples commercial, it got hit with the wrong side of the winds and it wasn't damaged as bad. There's a lot of fucked up roofs, bro.
There are.
Ripped off
Everywhere.
flat roofs, just busted wide open. Dude.
Yeah, and they're not getting. I mean, there's not enough.
They're not
salespeople
fucking
here.
tarped.
There's not enough people.
Talk
here
to me.
service
Tell
them.
them. I mean, compared to Dallas Fort Worth, what this looks like?
It looks like a ghost town
A
compared
fucking ghost town,
to. It's
people.
true. It really does. I mean, the first impression I had was there's just not enough people here.
There's not enough fucking people here.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
crazy.
I'm looking at. I mean, I've been driving by the same, commercial roofs,
And they're
that
not
are
even
just
tarped
destroyed.
up.
They're not even tarped up.
Yeah, you're
nobody's
just like,
even going and knocking that
You
door.
want to get in the passenger seat of my truck. We got to hit that prospecting engine up. And we got to make a YouTube to follow up this podcast where me and you go door to door. Let's have a little versus London versus Lee. We'll do
do it.
cold calling from the
Do
truck.
it. My truck versus your truck. Let's
Yeah,
go.
dude. You bring your little helper. I'll bring my little helper. We'll make video. That'd be badass, dude.
I'm all
Honestly,
for it.
y'all want to see that? Comment below if you want to see the Daly Black roofer versus lawyer. Then we can go to the gym and fight.
That's it.
Oh, that would be
Yes.
epic. Y'all want to see that shit? That would be awesome. All right. Tell me if y'all want to see that shit. So talk to me a little bit about, when you see a contractor just fuck one of these claims up. We had one. It was supposed to be the biggest ever. It was like a $13 million claim. Wasn't it?
Yeah,
But you told me it was beautiful.
it was.
Well, how did that fucker fuck that up?
He took an AOC, but didn't have a contract along with that,
Oh.
a retail contract along with that, which enabled the customer or the client to dictate what work was done. Because you cannot, if you take an AOC and you collect, and people say, can I get the bad faith money? No, you cannot in good faith or
They could sue you for
ethically-
it and lose.
That's
and
right. You can't collect money for work that's not
That's
performed.
that's not your money.
And if you don't have an agreement as to the work that you're going to perform and all you have is an AOC, that client can still turn around and grab you by the reins and tell you this is what you're going to do, and you're not going to do this roof, you're not going to do that roof, and all the remaining money for the left over after you've done the work that I authorize you do, you have to give to me because
Isn't
I'm
it
the
funny?
property owner.
That's what they call lessons in poker. You got to have the fucking devil in the details. I'm reading a book by Ryan Holiday. I don't know. You ever read any of his books?
I haven't read his books, no.
You know anything about stoicism?
Yeah.
This newest book's The Discipline is a Destiny. And it's pretty good. But
You got to think like a chess player, man. I mean, most smart people think 2 or 3 moves ahead, and they think they're smart because they're doing that. You got to be a master. You got to think 6, 7, 8 moves ahead. And if he had been doing that, that never would have happened. But
yes. So, a guy coming down here that is killing it in tile roofs and doing commercial. What is London Crounse over delivering for? What are you bringing to the table that is guaranteed hand down the reason why Daly and Black's the #1 law firm?
because if they refer the case to us, regardless of whether they have a contingency contract or not, we're going to lock them in as our expert and offer the client to make the roofing contractor our expert for free in exchange for guaranteeing the construction job. And we settle the case, which gives us power of attorney to add that roofing contractor's name to the settlement check.
You lock it in like
That's
blood.
right. They don't even have to
Blood
have an
in,
agreement.
blood out.
That's right.
Daly and Black ain't going nowhere.
That's correct.
And you fight for that motherfucker.
That's right. And the client, again, doesn't have to sign it.
Yeah.
But if they don't sign it,
Fuck them.
that's your red flag right
Yeah,
there.
just
Get
walk
out.
away.
That's right. It would have been a vampire client that would have just bled you dry and left you with nothing.
Nice. All right, so how do these guys get a hold of you? Like, if you've enjoyed this, you want to connect with him, you want to get him to run some of your claims. You got problems with commercial claims. You want to come here. Where all do you service?
Everywhere. I mean, we're a national law firm.
So, how many lawyers?
40
All right.
nationwide.
Now, tell me about this fucking $100 million lawsuit. Y'all won $100 million off of a residential deal. That
That was
seems like
commercial. $114 million verdict.
it was commercial.
Yeah, we settled it. We settled for less than that, but let's just say it was about 70% of that amount. Just
70
recently
million.
on a little bit more than that. Yeah, in appeal. It went up on appeal. Of course, every big trial you win, they're going to appeal it. It's going to get tied up in appeals court for 2 or 3 years. We were very confident we're going to win the appeal.
Why would an insurance company have to? Because I know the claim was like less than, 10% of that?
Correct.
Why did they lose so much?
Penalties and interest, because we are experts in extra contractual damages. We are experts not necessarily in you guys are the experts in what the work is worth.
Yeah, I don't know shit about that, bro.
But once you generate what the work is worth, if they don't
There's
pay
a whole
it
nother
properly,
side of that shit.
100%, and it actually can result in 1,000% damages to the carrier
Right.
if they fuck it up, because if they don't agree to what you're reasonably asking for and they act unreasonably and they land in the wrong state with law that is favorable to the policyholder like it was there, we are going to rack up every dollar of additional penalties, bad faith damages, interest, attorney's fees that we can. And really, it's, in that state, it's for the jury to decide what those penalties are. And they threw the book at them once they heard what this carrier had done to these people. Mm-hmm. So we are experts in extra contractual damages, which gives us the leverage to actually settle it for what you and your client need, plus our attorney's fees. So our attorney's fees never come out of what you need, because the client agrees to receive exactly how much you'll do the job for, and then we have to go and fight for our money in addition there too. But we know how to do that.
Look, London is a killer in the closing table. I can tell you firsthand knowledge. We've been going door to door together, and we're about to do it again for YouTube. So if y'all have enjoyed this episode, just make sure and comment below what you want to hear more about. When we go out there and do commercial prospecting, we're going to be using this tool on my iPhone. One of the things I've done, London, is drive down the road and drop pins. Yeah. But also, Cagney, he's developed, I think he found 2,000 really high profile jobs. Couple things. Properties built prior to 1996 were not built to the same building standard commercial structures. Mm-hmm. There's just exponentially more damage on those properties. So using the right data. We're attacking this. You just heard me before we kind of lay out for my commercial team with commercial direct mail. It's still in the beginning because all of them that pick up a direct mail that call, they're very influenceable and coachable, and they need help, and they're good leads. But really, we've been killing it through.
You're the lead ATM, I hear.
We're really killing it through just our the way we teach people how to do their own commercial prospecting. But the leads coming in every 2 minutes from Facebook and Google, and this is from years of advertising. And we don't advertise on TV, we don't advertise on billboards, but we own Facebook, we own Google.
Yeah, and you do.
People know our RCA in Southwest Florida as the second largest roofing company in the state. And we are coming for that number one spot in the state, coming for the number one spot in the country. And then the truth is that we want to set the standard and create more blue collar millionaires. Our goal is transparency. How's Daly and Black transparent in their process? Because to me, that's real important.
Yeah, I think information is power. If the client is not informed, most of the time I've ever seen, a client be upset, it's just due to lack of information. Mm-hmm. And so you have to have at least, bi-monthly updates. They have to be touched. That file has to be touched, and they need to get some sort of written or verbal communication, twice a month to update them on where they're at, what's going on. And as long as they understand, even if the process, if the carrier is still belaboring the process, we have the next step. If they don't do what's right here at this point in time, we're giving them a window of time. If they don't do what's right, we're going to take the next step. And now the leverage is going to go up. And so our ability to settle that case is going to increase. And regardless of how long they want to continue to make the wrong decision, and if they want to continue to thumb their nose at it, we'll take them to trial, take it to the mat, and we'll beat them. Mm-hmm. But 99% of the time, like I said, only 1% of our cases ever goes to trial. 99% of the time they fold. It's just a matter of when they decide to and giving them the information they need to fold.
Nice. Love that. We're going to break them. We're going to break them. And look, if you're feeling broken where you're at because your market sucks, your claims market suck, it ain't fucking sucking here, dude. It is beautiful, and there's a lot of people to help, and it's a ghost town for competition. You heard it from London. There's commercial. There's residential. There's tile for miles, and we here long-term for the next 5 years. Me and this man, we're going to work a lot of deals together, and we'd love you to be a part of it. So make sure that you reach out to us. You can go to joinleehaight.com. If you go to joinleehaight.com, make sure you answer all the questions and show up for our Tuesday training. I do a live training every Tuesday on anyone trying to enter the industry, and I've got some big ones coming up. So if you're watching this, it doesn't matter where it is, go to joinleehaight.com. I'll see you inside the live training, and appreciate you, brother. Anything you got final?
Just if you want to get a hold of me, this is a special group. So call me at 720-925-0785. go to our website or email me at lcrounse@dalyblack.com. I'll answer your call. I'll give you my time for free.
Dude, epic podcast, guys. What do y'all think? I had a blast, and appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, man. Of course.
All right.